hands a little bit.
It is news time, people. I'm Will Sullivan. Welcome back to Good Morning Football. I remember back in 2019, Marlon Mack was seen as the running back of the future there in Indy, as he was going off for more than 1,000 yards rushing, plus 8 touchdowns in 14 games. But now he's looking to run his way out of the Hoosier state. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero is reporting Mack and the Colts have mutually agreed to seek a trade. Mack has just 5 carries this season as he returns from a torn Achilles tendon suffered in Week 1 of the 2020 season. He's currently 3rd on the Colts depth chart, behind starter Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines. Chiefs head coach Andy Reid returning to work Tuesday after a health scare briefly put him in the hospital following Sunday's loss to the Chargers. The team saying Reid is in great spirits. KC will return to the practice field today as they get set to take on Reid's former team, the Eagles, on Sunday. And the Steelers, sitting at 1-2 after last Sunday's loss to the Bengals, is the 5th time under Mike Tomlin they have started the season 1-2 or worse. The good news here is they have finished 500 or better in each of those previous seasons. But here comes the bad news. They've missed the playoffs each of those years. Well, despite that, Tomlin not throwing in the towel on the season just yet.
Man, we're not going to push the panic button. What do I mean by the panic button? You know, we're not going to dramatically change who and what we are at this juncture. We're not resistant to change for the purposes of getting better, but we're not going to be so unsteady that we move away from our compass, the identity that we worked hard to develop and will continue to work hard to develop, and the emphasis on a style of play, whatever that may be in all 3 phases. We will make necessary adjustments, whatever that may be, born out of conversations and work and what we see in preparation. But that's the natural course of action that we go through each and every week. We would have that mentality and take that approach if we had played well and won, because each week presents a new challenge in the NFL.
What's your beef? Presented by our friend.
And of course, the Steelers are taking on the Packers, coming off that big win Sunday night against the 49ers. The good news for Steelers fans is they've won each of the last 5 meetings. And much like how Liam Neeson said in the Taken movies to his daughter, you don't have to worry, water is wet, honey. So either way, that is what we're looking at with the Steelers as they have revenge on their minds. They are trying to get their season straight.
Yep, they're 1-2. Tomlin saying not panic. We just went from preaching patience on quarterbacks. So let's hit the panic button for teams that lose after week 4. That's what we're doing right here at the breakfast table. And it is time. There's some teams that we're worried about. So let's do this. Which team are we ready to hit the panic button on, Shrakes, if they don't get a W?
I think that the Dolphins have to beat the Colts at home. The Dolphins are now 1-2. They had a really bad loss last week where they were up 14-0 early. And now the Colts come in wounded 0-3. No Quentin Nelson. You got to take care of business here. And I don't care if it's Tua or Brissett. Actually, Brissett played really well on Sunday in Las Vegas. But all this talk about playoffs, all this talk about a 10-win team, all this talk about what the Dolphins are going to do to compete with the Bills in the AFC. They've been blown out by the Bills. They lost a terrible one against the Raiders. That goodwill from Week 1's win in Foxborough, it could be erased with a loss to the Colts. Don't go to 1-3 if you still want to play in this loaded AFC.
All right, so I'm a bit worried about my Seahawks. They're in the toughest division in football, I think.
At the bottom.
At the bottom. They're going on the road to the 49ers, which is not going to be an easy task. They have to win this one because we know that the Rams or Arizona is going to be 4-0 and 3-1. And if they beat, and if the 49ers beat the Seahawks, you know, they're sitting at, what, 3-1. And then you have the Seahawks sitting at the very, very bottom. So we need the Seahawks to go and get a huge road win this week, gain some momentum, because I'm only worried, and I'm only hitting the panic button because of the division that they're in. That's the only reason. But I think they can do it. Let's go, Pete Carroll. Russ?
Let's find out. That halftime against the Titans, everything seemed to change. We have not seen the team since then. They need it. I'm going to try to talk about the biggest, fattest, nastiest panic button of all, the big red one down in Kansas City. I am not pushing the panic button on the Chiefs right now. I'm not. If they lose to the Eagles this weekend, bam, I am pushing it. It is on. They will be 1-3, a last place team that has lost 4 out of 5 games going back to last season. I got Big Fonted earlier this week. Big Fonted is when we take a quote and they put it on social media in like giant 72-point font. And it was me saying I'm legitimately concerned about the Chiefs. I held my breath and looked at the comments from all the Chiefs fans, and they're all like, yeah, duh. No kidding, there's legitimate concern. They were owning it. You're fine right now. It's okay. No one's panicking. If you lose to the Eagles, there's a real problem, and this is not 1 week. This is not 2 weeks. Now we have a sort of recurring event here. You can't lose this game. You can't.
Love it. I'll go back to your game. I should have gone right after you and saying the Colts, because you look at, I'm not surprised the Colts started 0-3. They had one of the toughest schedules of any team going into it. They had the Seahawks, they had the Rams, they had the Titans, all games that they were in until the very end. They've dealt with some injuries here. They have these little pockets of like juicy matchups. They have to capitalize if they want to get back into this playoff race and turn things around. It's Jacoby Brissett on the other side of the ball. You better pull out a win in this one.
Old guy.
This is a huge game for the Colts. Do not do it. Take advantage of this and make a little bit of a turnaround and a run here. All right, more Good Morning Football is on the way right here. Bengals fresh up a win in the Steel City. Can Joe Burrow end those Bengals? Keep it going against the Jags. That is your kickoff to Week 4. That is Thursday Night Football right here on NFL Network.
Everybody thought it was Brady set revenge.
Is that right? Welcome back to Not New Jersey. That is our guy. We're calling him Gene. That is a picture of a gentleman in Western New York in a Sam Madison Dolphins jersey. And why are we showing that picture? Because, Peter, Not New Jersey celebrates the strange, eccentric, and hard-to-find jerseys, right?
Yeah, look, I'm wearing right now a Deion Sanders red jersey.
Not Falcons, not Cowboys, not Braves, Reds. And I got...
I don't think he came out.
Yes, a Barry Foster Steelers jersey from back in the day, number 29. So we're in the spirit of it. We're in the break room. And what happens is that you wonderful people out there, you see these crazy jerseys. Not your Tom Brady's and Patrick Mahomes jerseys, not your Brett Favre and Joe Montana. They send us, oh my gosh, I saw an Edgerrin James Seahawks jersey. I just saw an Ashley Lilly jersey at the supermarket. You tweet us a picture, we break them down, and we pick a winner of each and every one. And Peter, we got a batch today. We got a batch. Let's go to the streets. These are the ones you sent us with Not New Jersey. The first tweet. Okay, now this comes from Kevin Gow Jr. That is an orange Nathan Vasher jersey. And Peter, you're going to like this. It's on an educator. The person wearing it is Mr. McNamara, a social studies teacher in junior high in the Chicago area. What comes to mind when you see this Vasher jersey?
First of all, it looks like it's signed. The 3 has a little, which I love. Autograph. 2, Nathan Vasher, great, like Rex Grossman, Urlacher era player. 3, the orange Bears jersey, very rare. And yet, random player, but not so random. A lot of people love Nathan Vasher.
He was on a Super Bowl team, and he was one of the best players, went to the Pro Bowl that year. He's remembered for having a then-record 108-yard touchdown return. There he is with Peanut Tillman. Great, great ball hawk for a couple of years. I know he sold a lot of jerseys in Chicago. I do like that they have the orange, because the orange was the one Vasher was wearing on the 108-yard return. That is a really good, and I like that it's coming from the junior high.
I love it. I love that he's an educator. Love it.
All right, so that's our first one. Will that one win? Let's find out. It's a long way to go. Special one, Peter. Bring this one up, because this is an all-time great, and this is one of these great Hall of Fame players, and oh my God, what jersey is that? That, at a game, is a Warren Moon Chiefs jersey. Peter, what comes to your mind?
Fond Oilers memories. I have fond Vikings memories. I have fond Seahawks memories. I don't remember much Warren Moon Chiefs. And yet I know it happened. How do you buy that jersey? There's a million Chiefs jerseys.
That guy was in on it. 99, Moon goes to the Chiefs, where he is backing up people's sexiest man alive, Elvis Grbac.
How old was he, 45?
He was 44. 44, Peter. All right, he only 3 games in 2 years with Kansas City. He retired at age 44.
Kimball Anders? That's Kimball Anders.
Just take it away, Peter.
See all of them. Look, he played?
Like, yeah,
he actually played.
He throws back $20. Two Hall of Famers. Yes, and look at that. This is against his old guys.
Hall of Famer Morton Anderson.
So this person said, I'm in on the Moon jersey. I'm going to buy this, and I'm going to keep rocking it all these years. And we'd like a picture at a game. So we got Nathan Vasher, Warren Moon. Let's see what's next. I think we're going to a flea market next. I hope we are. Not to buy it necessarily, to wear it to the flea. Yes! All right, Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, black Detroit Lions, Mike Williams jersey. Peter, the Mike Williams dossier.
Peak Mariucci era. Peak Mariucci era of the Lions. They drafted a receiver every year. Mike Williams missed his last season at USC, said I'm going to sit out. Came in about 80 pounds overweight, if I'm not mistaken. Shows up, gets in shape, wears the number 88. Oh, and like flea market culture. I grew up with the flea markets, the English Town Flea Market in New Jersey.
That's the one?
I used to always go to, I haven't seen a flea market. It looks like a bazaar in Turkey. I love this.
It does look like it's a bazaar in Turkey, like Liam Neeson's looking for his daughter or something. I love that you think he'd be buying it at the flea market. Wearing it too, and it's M. Williams because
selling sunglasses.
Selling them. He's working. And that guy's got a ponytail and everybody else's face is blurred out. This is a high quality photograph of Mike Williams. Not the one on the Chargers right now. Different Mike Williams, wherever you may be, we remember you well. And how about another gem? All right, here we go. In case you cannot read backwards, our next one may be closer than it appears. That is Miami Dolphins, Bernie Parmalee, which this guy's thumbing and flexing in his own bathroom. Peter, what comes to mind with Parmalee? Do you like the picture?
I like the picture of a grown man taking a selfie in his bathroom with the shower curtain half drawn. No, I don't like the picture. Do I love Bernie Parmalee? He represents of the early 90s Dolphins and O.J. McDuffie and Rick Pryor. Of course I love Bernie Parmalee.
He was working for, let's call it a parcel service at the time, and when he got to play for the Dolphins, this is a Ball State guy who is now in coaching, and he is currently the Jaguars running backs coach right now. And I like that the guy's picture's like, oh yeah, I'm wearing my Bernie Parmalee. That's right. Like, he's very...
What's that guy's name?
Might also be Bernie. Yeah, that might be the new thing. What is this guy's name? I'm getting strong Mitch vibes.
I'm getting Sal vibes. Sal was living in New York, moved to South Florida in like the mid-90s, and this was his guy. And Sal hit it hard in the mid-90s.
Did he?
In Miami,
he got after it?
Moment, like he was hanging out with the guys in the U.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
I think that Mitch went to Ball State, and he reps the Ball State Cardinals, and that's why he does. All right, is that it? We got one more. Let's get one more in. All right, this is my favorite one of the day. Peter, it's a Giants jersey. We're talking local. Who could this possibly be? Peter Strager, Peyton Hillis, Giants in the parking lot. That is 100% real. How dare you?